Music creatives and indie record label owners and very small indie record label owners aren't really aware of the dynamics and changes that are going on in the music industry right now. And a lot of them feel that the industry is dead, but it's not, because it's just reconstructing itself. Now, because people forget about history, they are for sure doomed to repeat it. Let me bring some things to your attention so you don't get caught in the sauce of this new reconstruction of the music industry, coming up right here on the Music Money Makeover Show. I must first express what has happened in the YouTube generation, as I'm going to call it, and really since the days of the Napster era. So check it out. Creatives have been held captive, but also feel freed at the same time in the YouTube generation. During the YouTube generation, just to keep it short, CDs had a fallout, P2P file sharing gave way to streaming, and now we're at the beginning stages of streaming 2.0. A reinvented way to consume music via the internet. And I also have to throw in the fact that AI has entered its way into the YouTube generation as we now move into the streaming 2.0 generation. I really think that streaming 2.0, well, we saw the embryonic stage of it when Twitter came in and people started communicating about what was happening on TV. It became a community thing then. And then OnlyFans hit the scene. And some may snicker at it, but OnlyFans is a really important piece to this puzzle because it was the first place that allowed a certain side of the entertainment industry to create a community outside of a forum that we were used to and actually had to pay to be in it. This is before Discord really took off, right? So we're now seeing the communal aspects come into play in the digital space along with the streaming, and they're going to clash together. So this is what's bringing in streaming 2.0. And I've said this before. You got to dig through my YouTube page, but I've said this before. But let me keep going. I don't want to get stuck here because I got a lot to talk about today. In 2025, artists will push for D2C aggressively. Right now in 2024, we've seen the ramping up of artists promoting their releases on direct-to-consumer platforms. This momentum will close out the year, further weakening streaming platforms. In 2025, D2C will become commonplace amongst artists. That's what I'm just saying what it is. Amongst artists, not the public yet. And we will begin to see clever ways of selling music and experiences directly to the consumer via digital platforms. We may also see, watch this, Apple Music taking market share from Spotify because it already has the infrastructure to relaunch parts of iTunes back into Apple Music. We may see this. And this might be why there was a report that recently came out about over the next 10 years, Apple plans to sell 500 million iPhones, something along those lines. This might be one catalyst to it because people might want to experience music in a different way. Okay, check it out. 2026, EVEN will go head to head with Bandcamp. Now, I see this coming a mile away, and EVEN will go head to head with Bandcamp. Neither will win, though. It will be Coke versus Pepsi, and some will choose one over the other. I recognize the benefits of both, but EVEN would be my choice. Bandcamp will be for the starters, and EVEN will be for the intermediates, because you can't discover on EVEN yet, but on Bandcamp you can. And I feel like this is really due to having enough content on EVEN. Now, if EVEN builds in a discovery option by 2026 with a charting system, it will be the biggest D2C platform by 2030. I'm just saying it. I mean, we don't know the dynamics, but I feel that if they can do that with a charting system and they get enough content on the platform so that it makes sense to build in a discovery place so people can actually discover and not just go look for artists. Like they can see, okay, this is what's hot and what's trending on EVEN and what's not. Oh my God. Plus the community that EVEN already has built in, dude, it's over with. 2027, majors will emerge with D2C built in. By 2027, majors will create a D2C platform that supports the big three, or they will partner with Apple Music to bring back catalog to this new selling format that the general public is now beginning to accept. Once majors do this, streaming 2.0 will become culture. So if majors get together and they put their systems together and say, hey, we missed out on the streaming era, let's not miss out on the D2C era. We might need to come together to make this happen. We will make a platform just for our artists. We will make it super, super special, and people will have to get our app, right? We're going to do things together, or they might do stuff separately, but I don't think that's the way to go. So they may do things together and come to even consensus on one D2C platform for major label artists. And in that position, it could be a deal with Apple. It may not be a deal with Apple. It might be quicker to make that happen with Apple because of what I said earlier about Apple already having infrastructure in place to take one-off payments. Spotify does not have that infrastructure in place to do that. That's why Spotify is not even in this discussion. So I feel that Apple can bring that back, and the labels may sit down to figure out a situation or a deal with Apple to make that work. Okay, so let's keep going. 2028, pay to stream albums will be the new standard. By 2028, the general public will reminisce about how streaming was the good old days when you could get music for less than a penny. Just like baby boomers would say a loaf of bread cost them 75 cents. The cycle continues. I'm saying that 2028, this will happen because of all the other steps I said before. You see what I'm saying? It will be after the artist revolution that happens next year with D2C, it will become commonplace because it came out of the grassroots. All of it did. Bandcamp, as I've said before on this channel, was super early because Bandcamp came in around the same time Spotify was launching. And they were just, the public was tired of paying for music. They were already doing it on iTunes, so they didn't see why they needed to do it on an independent source. Streaming is here, artists aren't getting paid, and the artist revolution is happening. The creative revolution is happening, and now they want a place for people to pay them, irrespective of the conglomerates that will collect the piece to handle the services. But even though some of these companies will still do that, they would much rather do it with companies that are not the larger companies. That's why they're choosing Bandcamp and EVEN and all these places like the likes of or the lower level companies that sit beneath these two. So by 2028, this is what we're going to see. People will begin to pay to stream albums, and this will force artists to actually put more quality into their recordings. So what you essentially witnessed in all of the new generations who are now becoming, 16, 17, 18 years old, we went through a death. That was the death of the music industry when Spotify came in at that time. When we went through a dark ages, if you will. When Napster came in and it came in like a cancer. It was like, hey, you guys are getting rich off these CDs. You're putting crappy music on these CDs. And to be honest with you, in the 2000s, music was really crap. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nobody says that, oh my God, I want all of that music from the 2000s. It's like, we love the rap music from the 2000s. We love a little bit of R&B from the 2000s, but not all of it. But at the same time, it was like we were going through a regeneration phase then. We're now coming out of it. So all the talk of, oh, the music industry is dead, it will never die. Nothing ever dies. You see what I'm saying? It's just not going to happen, but things will die off that are no longer necessary, like a Spotify. I can see it coming a mile away, and the people who work there can as well. It is what it is. Let's keep going. Getting people to buy directly from you is hard. Getting people to stream your music is now currently hard because of the evolution of social media. Many music listeners are stuck on social media without being converted off the platform. This puts the ball back in your court as an artist to step up your creation and production game and also your selling game. So I'm starting to see more artists get into the mode of selling. When artists got relaxed with streaming, they didn't sell anymore. They were like, oh, people know where to go get the music on streaming. You don't have to tell them. And I said this on the channel because that's true. People know how to go stream an album. They know that, oh, back in when TuneCore first came in, people were saying, oh, out now on all streaming platforms because we were coming out of the CD era. And then eventually people just stopped saying music out now, except for the newbies coming in who didn't understand that the public already knew that if they saw it on Instagram, chances are that it's already on the streaming platforms. So people stopped saying that the music is out. They stopped selling. They just started putting out the promotional pieces, and now we got to get back to that to make this work. Now, do you think Apple Music will be the saving grace? I think Apple Music will be the place where majors and indies come together to sell. And people who want a better experience with the artist and profit share will stick to EVEN and Bandcamp. That's what I think. I really do feel, and I've said this in my EVEN video, this is like the first video I did on EVEN. I said that it's like something along the lines of like, it's like what Apple Music could have been. But I'm not naive enough to say that Apple Music won't make these changes because they're a forward-thinking company. It's just that they have to do it in a timely fashion, and EVEN has to be in a position to create something that is unique versus what Apple Music has to do for a mass audience. EVEN can do it for a smaller audience. Bandcamp can do it for a smaller audience. And I think that that's happening now. How will the indies win under this new system? It will force better creativity and experience building. At the same time, it will allow the indies to get more cash to finance more operations quicker. Real sales numbers and cash flow will relieve mathematic complications and allow the true market movers to shine. Self-explanatory. TikTok Music is the snake in the grass. TikTok Music has yet to be launched in the US, but when it does, it will add a bit of competition to the likes of EVEN and the potential of what Apple Music could be. TikTok Music will allow consumers to enjoy content, save music directly to playlists, and interact with their artists in a community format without leaving the ByteDance ecosystem. This conversion speed will be extremely fast and will give other platforms a run for their money. So if we look at what EVEN is doing, EVEN already has a community built in, right? Well, they're working on it. They have the app to stream, which puts them in a unique position. Bandcamp doesn't have that, right? Apple Music tried it. It didn't work. People didn't really want social media on a music streaming service, but they have the power to actually really make it work if they want to, okay? However, TikTok poses a lot of damage in this particular category because of the fact that if you promote the music on the TikTok service itself, and then people can get over, and I said this before in my TikTok music videos, that people can get over to TikTok very quickly, save the music to their playlist extremely fast, jump into discussions, not communities, but just discussions about the artist on TikTok music itself. Having discussions on the music itself separate of the TikTok app, which they're already doing this in foreign countries on TikTok music. This is like a very unique, fun way for artists and community to be created without the artist actually creating the community on a music streaming app. Crazy. I mean, I don't think people know the power of what TikTok music will be once it hits the United States. So that's the snake in the grass in this scenario. With all of this stuff coming to market, there's going to be an immense amount of cash flow happening for artists and creatives, especially ones that are really good. Their teams know how to put a lot of intent behind the music, how to put a lot of feeling and emotion in the music to make people move and sell that sucker. So if you know how to do all that, or you're planning to do all of that, and you're going to make a lot of extreme amounts of cash flow on your music, or maybe you're already doing it right now, then you're probably going to need something to help you out with that. So if you're a music creative or a new music exec who needs to build a record or publishing company in 60 days or less to support all that cash flow with the foolproof process, well, I got you covered because I created this thing called a 60-day record label designed to help you get funding for that record label, keep you out of the mix and getting lost in the sauce and screwed contractually in this game. And on top of that, keeping the middleman out of your pockets of your international and domestic record and publishing royalties that I'm going to show you how to collect in this course as well. But if this sounds a little bit too good to be true, I don't care if it does, because it is true for almost 2,500 people who've taken it already. Grab the free guide beneath this video so you can see what it's all about. 10 major ways to increase your record label's profits. A free split sheet comes with that download right there. But let's talk about the upside, if you will, to all of the new technology creation. Jumping on D2C early will sharpen your sales skills before those who are stuck on streaming come to market. D2C sales are an extreme beast that takes time to learn, but if you learn it when the public is new to it, it will make you stronger for the time when people are ready to spend money this way. I mean, that's the truth. But the downside is this: letting the industry pass you by, this will cause you to fall behind on technology, just like those who think AI will go away. Once you figure out that the technology isn't going anywhere, then as the noise floor creeps up, it becomes harder to pierce through the noise, just like with streaming. Or at the end of the CD era, when everyone could burn CDs. It is what it is. People always let technology get the best of them, and they let technology ride out on them, and they don't become an early adopter. And you don't have to be an early adopter. But when I saw AI come in, I knew that there was too much money behind it for that train to stop running, for a revolution to even happen, because people had to check it out before they made a revolution. They can't even do it. They can't even stop that train right now. You know what I mean? And the only way they can stop that train is if AI does something detrimental to the public that makes the public feel it on a massive scale. You get what I'm saying? So this is really what I'm seeing. Now, check this out. This is a transformation here. This is the beginning of the record industry all over again. Hear me out. And we've just gone through a massive reconstruction phase. Now we're entering phase 2. Picture the 1920s, big band era, and records are not existing or non-existent right now. You just have a live show, which is what things kind of were in the CD era. We didn't really have social media like that. And you have that experience. Or you get to hear it on radio in certain select markets. This is the 1920s, by the way. But by 1948, vinyl records hit the consumer markets for purchase so people could enjoy it in their homes. Now, this is kind of like when DVD players first came out. DVDs were really expensive. DVD players were really expensive. I think they were like $1,000 for a player at the time in the year 2000. But at the same time, vinyl records hit the market in 1948. It probably doesn't start getting consumed well until the 1950s, where the prices come down for the consumer to actually have, regular consumers to have it. We're in that period right now. So we're at that point, and it's just 2024. Streaming was the new radio, and D2C is the new vinyl. But over the course of the next 10 years, D2C streaming, or streaming 2.0, will change the music experience for artists and consumers. And this is something I want you to recognize here. As we go through this transformative experience and period in the music industry, things won't be the same after 2026. I promise you that. And if anybody is on here saying that the industry is dead, I promise you that it's not. And those people will get left behind. Those are just people who need to say something in the comment section on TikTok, you know, and Instagram and all of that. And even on my page, because people talk a lot out of the side of their necks, but they don't really practice in this music game. And people want things to go back to the way they are. But newsflash, they never do. They always change. Change is inevitable and it's going to happen. So you might as well get on board. Music Money Makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com, jump into the 60-day record label course, book a call on musicmoneymakeover.com, smash the like button beneath this video, and guess what? I'll see you next time. Peace.